What's up, everybody? It's Brandon Locaron here, and today I wanted to talk more about our BRRRR strategy and take a deep dive into the buying aspect of it. What do we need to do to buy it, and what should we be thinking about, right? So, just a reminder, BRRRR stands for Buy, Rehab, Rent, Refinance, Repeat, and it's an investment strategy that I absolutely love and adore because when you get out of it, you still actually own the property, have 20% equity in it, and you're cash flowing, right? So you put your money in, you do a cash out refinance after you put some renovations into it, and then you put a tenant in there and you get out. So that way you can move on to doing the next one a lot faster than you were if you were, buying the traditional way, because when you're buying the traditional way, you end up leaving that 20% down payment in the property, right? So you don't get it back. This way you build equity, and you're able to get back that money that you initially invested, including your construction costs. So let's dive into exactly what it's like to buy the BRRRR strategy, which is the B in BRRRR. So first of all, you want to buy using the 70% rule. And what does the 70% rule mean? So 70% rule in layman's terms basically means, so let's say the ARV or after repair value of the property is $100,000. Ideally, you want to get that property under contract for 70,000 minus the construction cost. So let's say construction cost is about $10,000. You're going to want to get that property under contract for $60,000. So 70% of 100,000 is 70. And basically minus construction cost 10,000, so you're under contract for $60,000. So that's the rule, where you're gonna be able to get out of the property and still be cash flowing, make money, and get all your initial investment back out. And it allows for about 5 to 8% overages on construction, and maybe you held it for a little bit longer, whatever the situation might be. There's a lot of contingency built in there, and that's why I like the 70% rule. So then you want to make sure that you have your lender lined up, right? So the way you're going to take down this property or buy it is you're going to either use hard money or you're going to go through conventional financing methods, right? So you're going to talk to a regular loan officer. Now, a lot of hard monies now, they have a 30-year program that you could jump into, and they understand the BRRRR strategy well. So what you could say is like, look, I'm going to cash out refinance in 3 months as soon as I finish renovations. Do you guys offer any sort of long-term financing loans where I could just refinance into it because you already know the property? And usually that's going to be the easiest method. It's not going to be the cheapest, right? What's going to be cheaper is if you go through a traditional lender and you say, hey, I'm doing a cash out refinance. I own this property. But the problem with that is, let's say you purchased it with a conventional financing method, you're going to need to wait 6 months, because of Fannie and Freddie Mae guidelines in order to do the cash out refinance, which is not bad. Like, let's say you get in, renovation takes you, 2-3 months. It takes a month to get a renter. You put a renter in there, and the renter is in there for 2 months before you're able to do the appraisal and get the cash out refinance. You're still cash flowing. It just took you a little bit longer to get your money back out, right? So you always want to ask the lender, like, what what is their seasoning period when you're talking to them, so that you know and understand what you need to have in order to get it exit successfully, right? So the next thing is you're going to want to understand rough construction costs. And that's something that I understand immensely because I do a lot of construction. We have a construction company. I do construction on my own house. I love it. I enjoy it. When I first moved to the U.S., funny story is my brother and we moved here when we were 13, right? And the first job we had was actually laying pergo floors for beauty salons because my stepdad somehow, was hooked up with this guy, and he was like renovating all these beauty salons for these guys. And we would go to work with him. And it was crazy. It was like my brother and I watched one video on pergo floors, and we were able to we were running circles around everybody. It was awesome because, we were hard workers, and it was just so much fun to us, and we just wanted to get it done. unfortunately we were hourly paid, and then later on we learned we should charge by the job. But whatever, like it was, man, we were killing it. We were laying some pergo floors really quick. Kind of funny now to think about, but that's how I got started here in the U.S. Is like when we moved here, I was in school, and we that's what I did for side work, right? To make money, because I wanted extra money to be able to do things I wanted to do. So that's how, so a little bit of background. That's how I know construction. And I continued it doing bathrooms, foundation work on my own house, all sorts of stuff. So I understand what it costs and what it takes to do a project. And that's something that you guys need to familiarize yourself with, because not only because you're going to do the project, but when contractors are talking to you, you're able to kind of be educated about the subject they're talking about, right? Because there's a lot of sneaky contractors out there that will kind of take you for a ride, and that's what you don't want. You want to be able to understand what they're doing and be able to talk to them in an educated manner, so that when they say like, oh hey, like this subfloor needs to be replaced, you're not like, oh great, like how much is that going to cost? Like you understand that, like, hey, okay, how much is a sheet of plywood, how much man hours is it going to take to replace this, and what else do we need to look at, right? So you can at least be educated about it, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you understand everything about it, but just so that you don't get taken for a ride. So you want to have rough construction costs when you're buying the BRRRR, because that's the 70% minus construction costs. You have to have that formula in order to determine your purchase price. So let's say you go through the home. I would recommend you guys build a relationship with a contractor and say, hey, look, this is what I'm looking to do. I'm an investor. Would you be open to going with me and giving me quotes or rough estimates on what things might cost? And most of them will say yes. As soon as, especially when you develop a good relationship with them and you're able to help them, because you're passing them referrals too at the same time, and you're giving them business. So most contractors understand that, hey, look, like I got to estimate the job in order to, or give RUM numbers, rough order magnitude numbers, in order to be able to, get an idea for you. And once you're open with them, then they're more likely to, want to give you more, right? Because people generally appreciate honesty, and that's how I run. Is like I'm an open book. So like people know what they're getting into when they're with me. It's not like a bait and switch, right? So that's what I recommend. Know your construction costs. Then that gives you your offer price, right? So offer price is, again, 70% rule minus construction costs. So 100,000 ARV after repair value of the property, you're going to take it down to 70,000, which is 70% of 100,000 minus construction costs. Let's say our construction costs came in at 10K. Then your purchase price needs to be $60,000. So there you have it. That's a deeper dive into the buying of the BRRRR strategy. Later on, I'm going to go through financing options and what it takes to essentially buy it, right? Going through each option of a conventional method, hard money, or cash. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Definitely subscribe, hit the notification bell. Would love to see you guys again. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.